So we want to be significant, right? I want to be somebody. I can admit that. And if you're sitting there with this false humility that you don't want to be somebody, that's false humility. Because the truth is, in our human nature is the devil. And what brought him down but pride, wanting to be somebody. So we all have that in us. That doesn't make us bad. But here's what's cool. If we will learn that it's not about the gifts, it's about the fruit. That's when we'll begin to understand. What is the fruit? Love, joy, peace, long time. Just the key word is love. Let me tell you something. 2 words, or two thoughts, loving and serving. That's all the kingdom's about. I don't care if you preach to billions. I don't care if you, whatever it is, it's about that. And I'm going to prove it to you. Here's the truth. Can you name the 5 wealthiest people in the world? Honest, be honest. I don't think we could. Maybe 1 or 2. And right now, maybe nobody. Are you football buffs? Can you name the last 5 Heisman Trophy winners? Probably not. Girls, can you name the last 5 Miss America contest winners? Probably not. 2 of them went to Playboy, but you'd probably not. Can you smart ones? Can you name the 5 people who've just name 5 people who've won the Nobel Peace Prize or the Pulitzer Prize? The only prize I've ever won is like in the Cracker Jacks box. Are you movie buffs? Can you name the last 5 Academy Award winners for Best Actor and Actress? See, we really can't, can we? Let's be honest. Because the truth is, though these were the best in their fields, when the applause dies down and the achievements are forgotten, life goes on. Fair? Our heroes change. When I grew up, I loved basketball. And I had basketball heroes until they got old, and they had to change. But now tell me this. In your mind, or you can say it out loud, name a teacher that has been significant in your life because they have spoken into your life, whether that's here or wherever. Let me give you an example. Immediately you thought of somebody, didn't you? I'm 54 years old. I'll admit it, finally. Can't lie anymore. I'm 54 years old. In a couple months, in July, I'm talking to you, I'll be 55 years old and get my discount at Denny's. Huh? See, you guys are thinking, man, he's old. You don't get it. When they started sending me the AARP, you should start getting AARP stuff. Listen, I threw it away. I threw it away for about a month until I finally opened it and saw the discounts you get. Dude, I'm a member now. I know, $12.50 a year, and the discounts are incredible. It's a deal. I mean, we're getting to the age where we can hide our own Easter eggs. Do you understand? That made me laugh. So my teacher, listen to this. My teacher, her name was Mrs. Putoff. My 2nd grade teacher. I'm 54 years old. I still remember my 2nd grade teacher. Her name was Mrs. Putoff. Because she loved me, she would tell my mom. Now, she did tell my mom I talked too much in class, which I don't understand that at all. But she told my mom that she loved to hear me sing. That just stuck in me. So name a friend that you have that speaks into your life. Do you see what I'm saying? I wrote some other ones down. Think of someone who's made you feel special and appreciated. You know what's so sad is we get into these, we are so negative with one another. And Jesus said what? They will know me from the love that you have for one another. So can I say something? Why do you figure the world doesn't know us or know him? Because we don't love one another. We really don't. Don't play the game, kids. Don't play it. It ain't fun playing it. But when you really learn to love one another, then that's when the world's going to really see we get on these big evangelism kicks. And the truth is, if each one of us would pay attention to our realm around us, you know, a little pig pen on Charlie Brown, he's got that little dust cloud around him. Well, if we had that little Holy Ghost dust cloud around all of us and we did what we're supposed to do you see how significant that would be? That's the significance of one. Because one person can make a difference. They really can. And the truth is, the people who make the biggest difference in our life are simply those who care. I'm going to give you an example. I'll give you 2 examples. And then I'll probably be out of time, but I don't care. Y'all skip class. Look, here's the thing. I'm going to chop the tree, yell timber, and you can clean the mess up. Is that fair? If you never see me again here, it's because I wasn't invited. Just want you to know. Just want you to know. My daughter, he told you that my daughter was killed. She was actually on her way back to school when she was killed, October 4th of 2002. Obviously, traumatic time and stuff. But I had only been the fire chaplain then about a year. So for about a month, I just turned the scanner off. I didn't want to hear anything. But finally, I turned it back on, and I was kind of getting back in the saddle again. Well, we had a guy that was putting up his Christmas lights. So she was killed October 4th, so it was right before Christmas, so a couple months since she had died. And he's 45 years old, putting up his Christmas lights, has a massive heart attack, and dies on the spot. Well, I say on the spot, that's unfair. Legally, 6 to 8 hours, we can call you alive if you have any kind of breath. And the truth is, if I cut your head off, you would have a pulse and breath you wouldn't have breath because you wouldn't have a head no more. But you would have a pulse. You would have a pulse for 6 to 8 hours, so we can call you alive. Well, this man basically was dead on the scene. We transported him to the hospital, and he actually died in the hospital. So I go with the family, goes to the local hospital. So I go to the hospital with them, and I'm sitting there, and then they tell me that he's dead. So my responsibility is to share with them that he's gone, and I gently shared that with the family. And as I did that, I was just paying attention to see if anybody needed any help. And little 19, she wasn't even that old. She was 17, 18-year-old kid. Wow. I remember when I was an adult at 17, and don't tell me I wasn't. She looked at me, true story. She looked at me and said, "Are you Leah's dad?" And of course that stunned me, because we're here, it's her uncle that had just died. And I said, "Well, yes, I am." And she burst into tears. Now, she hadn't cried over her uncle. She burst into tears, which, got me a little emotional too. And she began to tell me this story. She said, I just want to tell you something. I said, "Sure." She said, I used to go to school. She said, "But I got pregnant, and I couldn't go to school no more. So, this was last year when Lee was at school. And this girl, let's just be honest, she was very, what ugly people would call trailer trash, if you will. Very homely, zits on the face, no nice clothes, lives in a trailer park type person." And she said, I just can't tell you how much I loved her. And I said, "Why?" She said, and my daughter, if you ever saw her, she was drop dead gorgeous. She really was. I don't say that she looked like her mom. That's fair. But she was drop dead gorgeous, very popular, spunky. She had a lot of me in her. She was very outgoing and very popular in school. But she said she would come into the cafeteria and nobody would eat with me. And she said she would sit down next to me and look at me and say, "You are so beautiful. You are so beautiful." Let me tell you something. My wife went to the graveside where Leah is, and there was a couple there that told her the same story, different girl. Oh, but you want to reach the masses, don't you? Because that's what's important. It was Mother's Day several years back. This story's in the book, but I need to tell it because it's very significant. I was doing my pastoral complaining. As you get older, those of you who are going to be pastors or think you're called and all that stuff, let me tell you something. You're called to breathe, okay? You're called to love people and to serve people. That's what you're called to do. Pick whatever title you want, whatever. Just do what you're called to do, and that's to love and serve people. So anyway, it was Mother's Day. We had just finished Mother's Day, typical Mother's Day, where you buy the gifts for the moms. On this particular Sunday, we had more guests that came to church than our own moms because they went somewhere else with their kids to their church. And I'm in my office, true story, I'm in my office, and I am going through my complaint session with God. And I say complaint, it was like, you know what, God, if we're standing in the way of what you're trying to do in this church to get us to grow like we're supposed to grow, if we're standing in the way, then get us out of the way. But come on, just complaining, all of a sudden, I get the tone out. They need me at this place. Suicide. I go flying over to this neighborhood. I get out. all kinds of heckling is going on. I go over and talk to the people who I'm supposed to talk to.